Hey everyone, I'm Nate.
And I'm Chelsea.
And welcome to the first video for the Guitar Fam practice plan.
Yeah, so we did this little mini course because we know that it can be so frustrating when you sit down to learn, you want to become a great guitar player, but you don't actually know what to practice. And so we're excited to offer this. Make sure that you download the ebook so that you can follow along, complete the exercises, and build your own customized plan.
Exactly, and that's really the goal of this entire little mini course, is to iron out an effective, customized practice plan that's going to help you reach your goals. And following along with the ebook is a really big part of that. But before we get into that, we need to address one major thing.
Yeah, and this is really, really important, and it's to check your mindset.
So you've probably heard people say things like, well, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And Henry Ford said that, and there's a lot of truth to it. So if you believe, a lie, whatever lie, and we'll get into this in a second, that you can't play the guitar, then what motivation or what good is it going to be to even sit down with the guitar if you believe you can't do it? You're not going to do it, you're not going to put in the time, and it's not going to work. But if you confront those lies head on and start to make better choices about what you're thinking about, positive thoughts and things like that, you will be able to make the progress that you want.
Yeah, so in this video, we're going to be confronting some of the lies that we see people believing about themselves that we've struggled with. So let's get into it.
The first one, and this one is one I hear almost on a weekly basis, is I'm too old to learn the guitar. And it's just not true. Now, like anything else you're going to learn as you get older, and by older I mean over 25 or 30, right? Just like anything else, you're going to have to put more effort into it if you're not 15 or 20 or something like that. But you can do it even if you have to put in that extra effort. And I would say the majority of the students that I teach one-on-one lessons with are at least 45. There are a lot of them that are on 55, 60, 65, but you are not too old to play the guitar. Even if you have to put more effort into it, you can do it. And the better chance, or you're going to have a better chance of it if you go into it with that mentality and if you have an actual plan of action when you sit down to play the guitar.
Yeah, and that plan part we're going to be tackling over these next 5 lessons. So the next one's related to it. People think, oh, I started too late. It's too late for me.
I started too late. I can't be as good as I want to because I didn't have that really early, when kids or teenagers are young, they just soak stuff up really quickly, and us old farts are like, well, how do you do? I'll never be able to do that. And it's not true. You can do it. It's just you're going to have to be more intentional about it, and you're going to have a better plan, and you're going to have to work smarter. That's one advantage we older people have over the youngins, is we can work smarter. They may be able to soak it up faster and absorb it more readily, but we can work smarter. Okay, the next lie that a lot of people bring up that's not true is I'm not musical. I'm not musical enough to learn how to play the guitar. And believe it or not, I really don't consider myself that much of a natural person as far as music goes. I feel like I've had to fight kind of tooth and nail for every stitch of ability that I have on the guitar, whatever that is. And you may feel the same way. I think my earliest musical memory was my mom singing in church, and that did help my ear to develop quite a bit. But actually physically playing the guitar, I've had to put in the effort and the time.
Yeah, and actually I have struggled with that too, just because I am primarily a singer and I took up guitar to accompany myself.
Yeah.
And so I found that singing has come naturally to me more than guitar, and so when I'm playing guitar, it's almost as like, oh, I have to fight twice as hard to get half as far, and it's easy to step into that lie of like, oh, I'm not musical enough for this.
Right, and you may not be the most musical person in the world, but that's okay. You can learn the nuts and bolts of what it takes to play the guitar.
The next lie that I want to confront is that women can't be great guitar players. Okay, so try telling that to Bonnie Raitt, Susan Tedeschi, Orianthe, Leona Boyd, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, getting old school there. There are so many women who have conquered the instrument. So if you're a woman watching this, I want to let you know that you can be a great guitar player, and women have a really unique voice to add to the music industry, and it needs to be heard.
Somebody got some energy about this, but it's true.
It's true.
The last lie that people tell themselves is kind of more subtle. It's called the comparison trap, and it's when you fall into the trap of saying, man, Steve Vai is so good, I'll never be like him. Do not do that. Every guitar player on earth has their own bag of tricks and their things that they're good at. There's nobody that's good at everything. But if you compare yourself to someone who's been playing for 40 years or someone who's a virtuoso, you're going to feel down in the dumps and you're going to be depressed and you're not going to be happy with your progress. The only person you should compare yourself to is the guitar player that you were yesterday. You show that guy who's boss and keep making progress.
All right, so getting personal here, a couple mindsets that I had to shift for myself in this is when I talked about women, I was getting passionate. It's because that's something that I struggled with. When I first started playing guitar, I didn't see a lot of women out, even in the popular media, never mind like people I knew, but there just weren't a lot of women who I saw playing guitar. And so it was hard for me to picture myself becoming a great guitar player.
And that's shifting today a lot, though.
Yes, that is shifting, which is awesome. But that was something I struggled with. And then also just self-doubt. Like, I find I can get discouraged and be like, I'm never going to get this.
And I'm like, Chelsea, you realize that it takes normal people 3 months to get good at something like this. And just like, I've been doing it for 3 days.
Yeah.
So
I get impatient.
Yeah. For me, probably my biggest mindset or lie that I tell myself, or the thing that I get stuck in, is just negativity. Like I'll latch onto a negative thought and I'll string that to another negative one, and before you know it, it's in a spiral. So the key there, at least for myself, has been to start recognizing when I have those negative thoughts and say, you know what? It's okay if I can't play this right now, but I will be able to play in the future if I keep practicing. And that's way more positive than like, I suck, I just can't play this. Do not do that to yourself. Really try to be aware of when negative thoughts come into your mind. Stop and replace it with something that's more positive. You may not be like, oh, I'm the king of the world, I can play anything on the guitar. That's not realistic, right? More like, I may not be able to play it now, but if I put in the practice, yes, I can do it.
So the action point for this first lesson is to keep an eye out for those negative thoughts. And we want you to actually write them down on in your practice plan.
Yeah, in the ebook,
Yep.
You can either print it out, or if you have the ability to do the digital PDF where you can edit it, write out your one negative lie that you're telling yourself.
Yeah, and then you're going to write out the positive thought that you're going to replace it with. So we're going to intentionally change our thinking to be positive and to believe that we can actually become better guitar players.
So what is your mindset challenge that you struggle with? Let us know in the comments below. It'll just be a way that we can get to know you better. And if you haven't joined the Guitar Fam yet, go to guitarfam.com and do that and sign up for the Guitar Fam practice plan if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever, and make sure to get the ebook too so you can go through everything with us. And share this video with one person that you know that's struggling with, being down in the dumps about their playing or struggling with creating an effective practice plan for themselves. We will see you in the next video.